Like life happens, shit happens. There are things you're going to go through. But if you're not leaning on and practicing the tools that you're sharing with people that can help change their life, it's going to be very challenging for you to make a sale and build the community and attract the trust in your potential clients and clients, because they're going to energetically feel disconnected. Welcome to the Rylee June Show. I'm your host, Rylee June, international intuition coach and spiritual activator. This podcast is designed for the souls who are ready to dive into what spirituality, consciousness, and healing truly is like. Here you will find the conversations and insight most spiritual teachers aren't willing to have. Why? Because we pull back the curtain on what truly takes place as you move through your healing journey, the duality of the light and the dark, and the role ethics and integrity undeniably play in your ascension experience. I have had the pleasure of working with tens of thousands of people, from clients, stories shared through messenger chats, and others in the industry, to know exactly what this journey will look like for you. These episodes will share conversations of industry leaders bridging the gap to the new paradigm of reality, and individuals sharing their heart through their soul's journey they've been through and what they've learned along the way. So if you're ready to go deep, unlock truth, and activate into the blueprint of you, this is going to be a space you're not going to want to miss out every Monday. Are you ready? Let's activate. Hello, beautiful souls. Welcome to another session. Today, we're going to be leaning into the difference between showing up and sharing your services from a place of empowered leadership and from a place of scarcity selling. What this looks like on both ends, and the difference in how you can truly evolve your ways of thinking to support you in being that more empowered leader that you're ultimately showing up to be perceived as, to claim authority in. And even if you're just getting started, you've learned a modality, you love it, it's helped you transform your life in some way, and you can't wait to share the good news. Even if you're just starting, there is still a viable experience that you're going to go through, even if you've been offering your services for some time and you're in that place where you're ready to scale. There's a scarcity mindset that comes up at every new level. At every new level, there's a new devil. And today I really want to address this with you, because this is a common theme that I support spiritual entrepreneurs with in my containers and coaching programs. And it's ultimately the question of, okay, I'm in this place in my life where I can't figure it out. There's something going on in relationship. There's something going wrong with my bills. There's something going wrong with my health. There's something going wrong in some degree and facet. How am I supposed to show up, or how can I still show up from a place of authenticity and vulnerability, but ultimately from a place of leadership versus the disempowerment that I actually am in fact genuinely feeling surrounding this area? And the answer to this is, it's in your tools. Even in the most fundamental, foundational basics of principles that you have learned, whether it's breathing, whether it's grounding outside, going for a walk, moving your energy, journaling, it is in those tools that you're going to be able to move through the thoughts that are coming up, the scarcity that's coming up, the fear that's coming up, and be able to show up and either share from a place of vulnerability but authenticity, ultimately empowerment, or from a place of knowing that you might not actually need to share what you're going through, and that you can still work on your frame of mind and energy to be in a place of empowerment if showing up is something you're feeling called to do no matter what. There has been a plethora of times in my life where I didn't know where I was going to have the money for my next vehicle payment, or our next grocery bill, or our next, whatever. And I, through my tools, sat down and broke down, decompressed all the thoughts, the energy, the scarcity, the fears, the worries, the overwhelms, the anxiety, all of it. before I ever pressed go live or made a story or made a post. And that's something that you're really going to learn to do more often, especially when your goal inevitably is, I assume, long term. You're playing the long game in this. You're not here to, or you're not assuming you're going to make $1 million overnight, right? Like, you get to build the community and the creation through the offers of what you're putting out into the world and let that evolve over time. But through that, there's going to always be something. There's going to be something that shows up, and it's in the tools of application where you get to manage your thoughts and your energy around what's going on in your life. I don't know if anybody's told you this before, but oftentimes just because you're going through something doesn't mean you always have to share it. And I find that in the spiritual industry, specifically, I mean, I'm sure there's other examples in other industries as well, but in terms of this, there's oftentimes this idea that when you're going through something, you have to show up on Instagram and show yourself crying. And I had this back and forth experience with it where I'll just share a story. Let me just share a story. So more recently, I had gone to an appointment, and we have a lot of stipulations around our health service departments in Canada, where masks are like you have to wear them. There's no questions asked. And I'm someone who doesn't agree with them, doesn't believe in them. And if you feel differently about that, then that's okay. You're more than welcome to. So I went into there knowing that I was going to have to wear one, and it makes me very uncomfortable. One, because there's no premise onto why that this is even still a thing. But anyways, I prayed about it the entire way. I just asked God for the guidance and the strength and the clarity and the support to, make this all work out for me in whatever form needed to be, right? And so I went in, and they make you pay for the mask if you don't have one. And then, which is not, you can't do that. And then they were just like so rude about the fact that I was just resistive to it, and I had to wear one to get into the clinic, and I drove an hour to get there. And so, yes, I'm upset. Even though I know that I need to put one on, which I still paid for it and did, there was just a lot of complications and problems. So inevitably, they just said, if you're going to have to leave if you can't do this, because instead of putting the loops around my ears, this was my way of taking a stand. I get it. It's ridiculous. But anyways, I just held it up to my face. I spread it open, held it up to my face, and they had a whole thing about this. And anyways, so I ended up saying, well, I guess I'm not going to my appointment. That's fine. And I wasn't being rude to them. I was just saying hey, this is where I'm at. This is what I'm doing. We're either going to work together or we're not. And they didn't like it, so it was fine. So I said, okay, that's fine. I'm going to cancel my appointment then. So they did, and it was very, very rude. Anyways, and then I left. And the lady in the clinic of where I needed to go, I needed to walk through this main foyer to get there. She called me back, and she's like, hey, the front desk called me. You drove over an hour to get here. I'm not letting you not get into this place for this checkup. So if you're okay with wearing one past, the front desk, then you don't have to wear one in our clinic. And I was like, yeah, that's fine. That's literally what it's going to do. Just the difference is I just didn't put the loops around my ears. There is literally no difference. But apparently there is. And if you agree otherwise, that's okay. Just enjoy the story. And so either way, I went in, held it up to my face, walked past it. She escorted me, went into my appointment, and then I left. And it was fine. But how this relates to what I'm sharing is that I was feeling super overwhelmed about it, mostly because it actually ended up working out. And I'm not against compromise. I'm just against unnecessary policies that are technically illegal. And so it worked out though, right? I still got what I wanted. They got what they wanted. And by God's grace, it just ended up being this thing. And so I ended up feeling called to do a live and just share the good news of surrender and trusting the process and compromise. And there were some tears shed, but it wasn't from a place of woe is me, I'm a victim, this clinic is a POS and awful people and yada, yada, yada. It was hey, I was up against something that I didn't align with, I didn't agree with, all the while knowing that this is still a policy, and just held true to myself and trusted in the experience. And throughout that live, there was some tears shed at the beginning, but it came from this empowered place. So I wasn't on there just like sobbing and things like that. And I'm not throwing shade at anyone who may have done that or may do that, but to really ask yourself, are you showing up to get sympathy votes, or are you actually showing up because you have something that is helpful to other people to share? Now, there's nothing wrong with sharing your life, and there's nothing wrong with sharing whatever parts of your life that you want in any stages, moods, or emotions. But what I am saying is that if your position is to ultimately be a leader, an authority figure in what you're doing, teaching, sharing, supporting people with, really understand that you don't have to share from a place of the depths of your sorrows unless it's absolutely relevant to you. I mean, again, you get to do what you want. This is your business, your brand, your vision that you're building. But there's a very distinct difference between showing up from a place of pity and then showing up from a place of, hey, this really sucks and I'm in this, but I want you to know that there's a message. I might be confused about the messages, but I know that I can lean on these tools, these same tools that I help you in my sessions, and these same tools that I help you in these programs, and the same tools that I help you in this space to support you in moving through this. And that's exactly what I'm doing. I'm in it. I'm feeling it. You're seeing it. But I am using my tools, and I encourage you, if you're in that place, to do the same. So it's a message like that where you're being vulnerable, but you're showing up with authority. And the same thing comes with sales and scarcity. When you're showing up to share these offers that ultimately, aside from any money things in your personal life, are you showing up from a place of, holy shit, I got to make this sale. I got to make this sale. I got to make this sale. I need to pay these bills. I need these things. No. I'm not going to hit these goals. Or are you showing up from a place of, okay, this is something I'm dealing with in my life, but in between, I'm going to use my tools before I show up and share what it is that I know people need in this world. Because if you're not doing that in between step, you're not managing your thoughts and your energy. And that's going to be felt energetically by the people who come across your stories and your work. There are many of times in my life where I have done both. I have showed up at a complete scarcity, threw on a sale, flashed it, whatever, and it totally busted, or it totally went an incredible way, or I got exactly what I needed to do whatever I needed to do. But it didn't necessarily feel good. It was a temporary release or relief of that circumstance I was in. And yes, the service I was providing was going to help people, but there's a difference, because now I'm attracting people who are likely in a similar scarcity energy versus people who are ultimately willing to do the work to shift and change the reality, which is ultimately what your work is here to support them in doing. And I want to share this because when it comes to selling your services or showing up online, you're going to have the imposter syndrome. You're going to want to raise your prices or even charge a price and feel overwhelmed around it. You're going to have things that come up in your life personally, financially, mentally, physically, relationally, and still have built this experience that you get to show up for. I show up every single day. And I have done so for 4.5 years, every single day, even before I had an offer, because I knew and understood that no matter where I was at in my life, managed and unmanaged, if I wasn't showing up for what I was building, for the vision I was working towards, the dream that I wanted to have, nobody else was going to do that for me. And I couldn't expect people to just hopefully find my work, especially if I was getting started. Still, I'm at that point where there is so many more people in this world that I get to reach, and I still show up every day, not from a place of desperation, but from a place of knowing, having embodied over this time of constantly reinforcing this habit, that people get to know about my work. And some days I just solely share about myself and my world. Most days it's some kind of tip or insight or guidance. And in almost every day there's something that people can enroll into, but it's not because I need to make that sale. I love making sales, and I love that my cash register in my business, metaphorically and physically, rings every day in some way from what I've created and built. However, I no longer operate from that place of, I got these bills to pay, I gotta pay them, right? And so if that's you, first off, know that there's nothing wrong with that. People do it, we do it all the time. Everybody does it in some way, shape, or form. There is something you need to genuinely pay for. There is something you genuinely want to achieve or experience or get or whatever. But there's a difference from showing up in that scarcity energy, and there's a difference in showing up in an empowered leadership way. Even when your life feels like it's crumbling, if you need to take a break, honor it and take a break. If you have a goal you want to reach, more often than not, you're going to reach that goal from doing your own work, from leaning on your tools, especially if your mind is going 100 miles an hour and can't seem to settle down and you're not able to find peace. People will feel it. People will feel it, and it will absolutely reflect your sales. And when you're in the business of helping people, whether it's a $130 session you're just getting started, or it's hundreds or thousands of dollars in products and courses and services, understand that people feel your energy, and you're showing up to say, hey, I can help you with your energy. I can help you with your life. I can help you achieve your goals in whatever way, in whatever form that you do. And if you're showing up from a place of not practicing that every day, of not working on the embodiment of that every day, you don't have to be perfect in it, by the way. You don't have to be fully aligned and be like, I'm floating on a cloud and I'm selling you this beautiful thing that's going to get you here too. Like, life happens, shit happens. There are things you're going to go through. But if you're not leaning on and practicing the tools that you're sharing with people that can help change their life, it's going to be very challenging for you to make a sale and build the community and attract the trust in your potential clients and clients, because they're going to energetically feel disconnected. I can't help but to take a moment to pause you right here and share with you my favorite beauty skincare line that exists that I have come across. The Province Beauty line is an all-natural, 100% vegan product that is incredibly effective for someone with sensitive skin. Someone like me who, even just switching my foundation, creates breakouts, red spots, itchiness, dryness, all the things. I have never had a problem with this product and have only had great results. From someone who also suffers super dry skin in the winter, their products help to get me through with glowing and radiant skin. Not only are they an incredible product, but they also are wildly affordable. And in the show notes, they have offered you an additional 10% off with my code. Hit up the show notes and go check them out. And if you love all things beauty and skincare, health and healing and support, you're definitely going to want to check them out. Province Beauty for all your skincare needs. Or you're going to attract the clients who are in the very position that you're in, who are mirroring and reflecting exactly where you are. And so you're going to be teaching them and training them and supporting them with the very thing that you're not doing, and that is out of integrity. So I really invite you to sit with this and to maybe take some notes from this and just check in with where you're at when you're showing up and sharing your work. I know wholeheartedly through and through that what I have created and what I have built, which by the way didn't happen overnight, it was a process and has been processes of trial and error and constant learning, can help transform and change people's life. I know that the Align and Ascend Mastermind is literally the gold mine for anyone in their first or third year of their spiritual business to get things running, get things scaling, and really build the impact that they want to ultimately create in this world. and have them more connected to themselves and their mission than they are in the focus of, I need to hit the next goal. I know this through and through. So when I talk about it, it's from a space of like being so excited to even throw my own money into it. Like I would pay my own money every round just to be involved in the energy and the experience of the women that come into this program, in the elevation, in the training, in the excitement, in the celebration of this program. I know this through and through. And when you offer a service, may it be a reading, a healing, a coaching, a program, a course, it doesn't matter. You have to be so sold on it that you know that people need this work. Like they're praying for it, they're hoping for it, they're wishing for it, they're dreaming for it, they're dreaming for a result that your service can truly provide them, and you would pay for your own work. If you wouldn't pay for your own work, it's time to really dig into your thoughts and your energy and really looking at what that looks like, right? So that's a really great place to do this check-in work with yourself and really pull out, decompress, decode what's going on under the surface. If you're showing up and feeling scarcity, like if I don't show up, if I don't make a sale, if I don't figure out how to make this money now, or if you're showing up from a place of empowerment, right? Ooh, I love what I do. I love what I sell. I love who I get to serve. I love that I have followed through with this mission, even in the times of challenge and even when times are challenging in the future, because they will be. Life happens. It's just how it goes. But that I get to serve people with this, and I get to evolve with this too. I get to learn more. I get to grow. I get to expand. I get to network. I get to co-create all the things. You get to do it. And so I really invite you to check into with yourself. And if you're looking for support in this area, you're feeling like you're really struggling with neutralizing the scarcity surrounding your next level, your next price points, the next thing that you want to pivot into, or even just starting offering the service of the modalities that you have learned, or you want to go down this road and you haven't learned a modality yet and you just want to serve, you just know healing has transformed your life in so many ways, and you want to learn a way to do that and do it properly, then the Align and Ascend Mastermind is where you're going to want to be. The price goes up at the end of May, and anyone who joins early gets access to the Revolution, the Masterclass, which is taking place next week. So there's two options there for you. There's the all-in 3-month experience of the Mastermind, which if you enroll, you get access to all the guest trainings and bonus trainings now before we kick off on all the fundamental trainings and principles for what the Mastermind is incorporating. So you can really just dig in and get started. There's so much good stuff in there. Oh my gosh, I just added a new training that is how to run a webinar, like a workshop or masterclass, and how to format it properly. So good. But if you're dipping your toes in the water and maybe you're not sure about the Mastermind, or you're struggling with figuring out where your sales are getting killed in your business, feeling disconnected from your services, maybe you kind of lost sight of why you're doing what you're doing, or you know why you're doing what you're doing, but you don't feel as connected to it anymore. Something shifted, or there's a pivot that you're wanting to make and you're unsure of it. And number 3, in Revolution, the Masterclass, we're covering your actual legitimate next tangible step. The thing that drives me nuts the most about people who offer workshops and masterclasses and anything to do around spiritual business is it's always mindset and energy, and there's never actually strategy. And you can't build a business without strategy. And it drives me nuts. I've invested in so many different programs, and that's why the Align and Ascend Mastermind was created, because it is the beautiful blend of the strategy, the business. No matter what you offer now or what you want to offer in the future, these business principles and practices and things that I teach you can be interchanged and used in any area. Whether you want to sell t-shirts, whether you want to sell a course, whether you want to sell a service, whether you want to sell coaching, it doesn't matter. Whether you want to sell makeup products, network marketing products, like whatever you want to sell, whatever vision you're feeling called to enroll in and support people with, the business stuff is tangible. It can be interchanged with anything, as well as the intuition development, the skill set development, and the coaching development, and the mindset and energy management work so that you understand how to truly decompress the things at every level. So I'm going to take a 90-minute excerpt of the Mastermind in Revolution, the Masterclass, and we're going to absolutely just crush it on the 26th. And we start the Mastermind on July 5th. So lots of good things coming up. The link is in the bio for all of it. And I would love to hear your takeaway from this episode. I know there's a little excerpt at the end, but I'm really feeling this deep call to just serve spiritual entrepreneurs in such a powerful way. I had a woman reach out to me. I actually don't get these often, so it was funny that I ended up getting one today when I'm recording this, and it was a message like, I read your name and felt a strong energy around you and thought you wanted a general life reading to know more about your life. And in the past, I would have been annoyed, or before I did anything that I do, I would have probably been like, oh my gosh, this person knows something about me that I don't know. Like, I need to know about it. So before, I would have, again, been concerned. Is this a warning? Or annoyed? What are you doing? Stop doing this. Don't send me these stupid cold call messages. If this is you and you do this, don't do that. It's not ethical. Just don't do it. But now I'm in a place where I'm like, wow, instead of being annoyed or triggered or mad at this person for literally just doing what they think is best, I actually have a solution for them. And so I shared that, hey, I appreciate the thought, but I'd highly suggest you take some time to learn ethical ways to approach people with your work. This leaves people assuming you know more about them than they do about themselves, and underliningly can be manipulative by nature. This is actually something that I teach, how to attract and prospect clients with your services without having to lead off with this type of approach. Yes, my energy is strong, your gifts are special, but there is a much more authentic and beautiful way to help others with an ethical approach. I'm enrolling for the Align and Ascend Mastermind to support spiritual entrepreneurs of all kinds. This might be a great fit for you and your work, and an opportunity for you to connect with like-minded women helping the world. Here's the link. If you have any questions, feel free to ask away and let me know. So it's like, before, what annoyed me, I have an actual solution for. So I don't need to be triggered about this person just doing the best that they can, assuming that her intentions are pure. It's all I can do. And how better, or like, this is literally why I do what I do. It just lights me up so much, because it's like, there's so many people in this industry that are just truly untrained. And I say that from a place of so much love, because I want you to know that I was there too. When I started my practice, I knew next to nothing compared to what I know today. And it was from investing myself. It was from applying myself. It was from analyzing my clients and the containers and the support I was offering and the results they were getting and the experiences that they were having, that continued to lead me down this path of needing to know more and constantly developing my work. And the more that I did, and the more that I incorporated science, psychology, behavior, emotional studies, like physical or literal scientific studies and understandings with the energy industry, the more and more I came to learn that there's just so many things that are not taught. You know, it's easy to grab a deck of cards from the store and show up online and start charging $30 and pulling cards for people, even just reading from the book. That's easy, but it's not necessarily ethical, because you really don't know what you're doing. You're unsure of how you're actually communicating with your intuition. You're unsure of what type of support you are and can actually offer. You don't have the protection legally behind the work that you're serving and the things that you're doing, or even for the client's protection and support that is missing as well. So it's like, these are the things that I never knew that I needed, that I learned along the way, that I'm like, wow, instead of pulling these out into 17 different things or courses or programs, let's put it into one container that's impactful, powerful, and that you get access to for 12 months, so that you don't have to rush to just cram it down your throat in 3 months and hopefully you get it all in, or download all the stuff and then apply it later. Like, you get the time and access to the community so that you can continue to stay encouraged and learning. So it's like, it's my favorite thing. And I just keep getting reminders day in and day out of how important this work truly is, that you're showing up in your offering, and that you truly do get to do it from an empowered leadership space. So if this is you, if this is calling to your heart, you're ready for that evolution, that upgrade, You can dip your toes in with Revolution, the Masterclass. We're going to be covering those 3 basic topics, or to say the 3 fundamental concepts of the Mastermind. And then the Mastermind is here to really make Q3, quarter 3 of this year, some of the most wildly transformational experiences. So as you're walking into Q4 and you're walking into 2023, you just know exactly what to do, and you are so empowered and aligned and connected to the work that you're doing from an ethical, protective, empowered, just divine, beautiful space. All right, I love you. I hope this episode resonated with you, and I am sending you so much love. Until next Monday. Before you go, I would love and appreciate so much if you could take a moment of your time to leave a 5-star review. It helps me to be able to get this message out to so many more in the world, and I am so truly thankful that you choose this place to be every single week. Until next time, don't forget to find the magic in today.